We now know that the Delphi murder trial will stay in Carroll County. We have team coverage for you tonight, starting with Star City's Hannah Grace, who tells us this was just one of the decisions made in the courtroom today.
Today's hearing lasted less than 10 minutes and discussed whether a gag order should stay in place and whether or not the trial should be taken outside of Carroll County. Richard Allen is accused of killing two Delphi teens, Abby Williams and Libby German, in 2017. Allen was arrested in October of 2022. He was in court today during the hearing.
Why did you do it? Shame on you! Shame on you, Richard!
Also at the hearing today were the families of the two victims, as well as two women who were in support of Allen. When walking into the courtroom, Allen smiled and mouthed "I love you" to the two women who sat on his side. He also looked at the family of the victims. Judge Fran Gohl allowed the gag order to stay in effect, meaning the attorneys, family, and possible witnesses cannot talk about the case or their testimony with anyone. Another major development is that the judge and both attorneys agreed that it would be difficult, if not impossible, to find an unbiased jury in Carroll County. The decision was made to still hold the trial in Carroll County, but bring in a jury from a different county. The judge gave the prosecutor Nick McLeland and defense attorney Andrew Baldwin 1 week to agree on which county that jury will come from. Allen's murder trial is scheduled for March, but Judge Gohl did remark in court today that she does not see it happening then. The next hearing in the Delphi murders case is a bond hearing scheduled for February 17th. Hannah Grace, Star City News, Delphi.
Continuing our team coverage of the Delphi hearing, while the trial will stay in Carroll County, Star City's Marguerite Incardoni tells us what other steps the judge is taking to ensure the trial is fair.
Because this case has gained international attention, Judge Fran Gohl ruled today that the case will stay in Carroll County. However, they will bring in a jury from another county. Among those observing in the courtroom was criminal defense attorney and podcaster Bob Mata.
I knew with this, in terms of just because of the size of the county and because how much the community was involved with the search and just the story in general, that there was no way that it was going to be able to pick the jury from this particular county.
Also in the courtroom was Thomas Frost from the Indy Archive.
The families have already been through enough, and they want it 150 miles away. I've heard Jeffersonville, I've heard Evansville. That's upwards of 3.5 hours away from here. Putting the family through that after what they've already been through.
It was the defense team that initially wanted the trial to be moved at least 150 miles out of Carroll County, arguing that this is the only way for Richard Allen to receive a fair trial. The judge stressed that keeping the case in Carroll County would be best for the families. However, bringing in an outside jury would ensure a fair trial. Attorney Mata tells Star City News that this is not the first time this practice has been done.
The first time this was ever done, it was my father was John Wayne Gacy's attorney back in 1978. It was a Chicago trial. They could not get a fair trial in Chicago, so they imported a jury from Rockford, which is about 50 miles west of the city.
Frost and Mata are both pleased with how Judge Fran Gohl has been presiding over this case.
I definitely like this proposition that the judge had for that. That was the judge's idea. She presented it to the defense and to the prosecution. Both agreed on that. That does seem to be the plan going forward.
It was the right move. Judge Gohl has absolutely nailed both major decisions in terms of unsealing the affidavit, because there was, at that point, constitutionally speaking, there was absolutely no reason it should have been sealed. And she got this right, too, because both sides want a fair trial.
The state and the defense have 1 week to agree on which county the jury will come from. Marguerite Incardoni, Star City News, Delphi.